The Wii music is overrated. Hey! So, thanks for coming, brothers from another mother, sisters from another misters, frienders without a gender. As today, we are gonna talk about the frickin' Space AU, because this is something that I've been lacking to tell more about since life. And also, it is cold as shit where I live, so if you hear a heater running in the background, then that's not my fault. But then again, I might edit this so that you don't hear the heater for the power of editing and everything. So yeah, today we're going to talk about the Space AU, because, I mean, I've already talked a little bit about the Pilots AU. If you haven't seen that video, I would recommend to check it out, by the way. But, finally, we have came to this point when I realized this would give me a good opportunity to actually talk about something from it, so here we are. So this video actually took way longer than expected, and that's mainly my fault because of the fact that when it came to the background, I had no clue what the fuck I was gonna draw, and so I was just like sitting there scrambling on what the heck it was gonna be, and I went through like multiple ideas of what it was, and everything that had to be space related, because it's called a Space AU, which means it takes place in a cave, of course, but like, it took forever, so I had to cut that part down a bit. So yeah, but you get to see the finished product at least. Alright, Space AU, let's get into it. So here I'm drawing Shadow from my Space AU, and I honestly think Shadow is the most fun for me to write about, only because, how can I put this? He's more of an asshole in this AU, and it's kind of funny, or not really funny, but it's very enjoyable for me. But basically, Shadow is like a prince, because in this universe there's queens, kings, a princess, a prince, or whatever, and Shadow is a prince, and he's very wealthy, he's very rich and everything, and because of that, he believes everything has to be given to him at an instant. Like, if he snaps his fingers, then you gotta be there. You gotta give him what he needs, or else he's gonna be pissed off, and then he's just gonna, like, pretty much either murder you or whatever. That's up to him, honestly. So Shadow is the son of Black Doom, which is his dad, or whatever, and Shadow's on his own, so he has his own ship and everything. So the type of villain you would usually expect when it comes to like space-related things is like, oh, this villain wants to take over a planet, or this villain wants to take over a galaxy, or whatever. But that's not Shadow. Instead, what Shadow does is he sells planets, and because of that, he gets money, and everything works out. And you could say, like, you could either take him as a bad guy or a good guy, depending on how you see him, but he pretty much takes or sells planets that look like they're in bad condition, and if they're not being, like, treated properly, or doesn't look healthy looking, then he pretty much makes a deal with someone else so that they can take over the planet themselves and make it better, and so that the planet doesn't die, or something. But he's a bad guy because of the fact that people live on the planet and all their homes are being destroyed and bulldozed to where it's just flat and nothing, and everybody hates him for that because he doesn't think about where they're gonna go or whatever. He just drops them off somewhere else and that's it. Like, without even like pretty much giving him any warning, he just makes everyone just move out, and it's that bad. Yeah, so it's because of that he's mainly like a villain or whatever. It's the fact that he sells planets that look bad, but it's bad even though it sounds good, because he kind of tricks people into selling it to him. Like, he says like, oh, well, it's for a charity or whatever, or like, oh, the funds are going to my marriage, only because Amy is like a kidnapped princess that he kidnapped just to make himself look good. So Amy is very depressed. She's very sad, because, I mean, she was kidnapped, you know? And so people get tricked into it, and if they tell him no, then he still takes it either way. It's that kind of deal going on. So Shadow has a fencing sword, because he knows how to fence in this AU, and it's pretty hot. But anyway, so now the good guy. So Sonic, of course, is the good guy. He's the good person. Sonic is also a prince. However, he doesn't want to be a prince. He doesn't identify himself as a prince. He doesn't like it that people call him that. He doesn't even like being rich, and he feels like this isn't him. And so because of that, he realizes he feels like he's an explorer. He's someone who wants to help people, who wants to like save people and everything, or just like help out in any way. So pretty much one day he runs away from home. He discards his like fancy looking clothes or whatever, because if you notice the difference, Shadow has a uniform on just to pretty much show people that like, hey, he's wealthy and he's rich, that means bow down or something. But with Sonic, he completely discards them because he doesn't want to be noticed as a prince or anything. So all he wears is just like gloves and shoes and a belt and something like that, just to not stand out as a prince. And it works because eventually when he comes across Tails, Tails is upset, and let me just tell you, this is what this video is based off from. This is when Sonic first meets Tails on a planet that apparently has been sold from Shadow. So he's upset and sad because his parents are like very far away in the galaxy, and he's afraid that when they come back, he's not gonna be there because of the fact that Shadow sold his planet. So that's what he's crying about. Sonic's there to cheer him up, and then Tails tells him that he invents things, and then he pulls out that musical box. And so... musical box? Music box! Okay, so he pulls out that music box, and so Sonic is impressed, he likes it, and he's like, God damn, boy, you got skills, you got talent, I gotta talk to you more. And so that's what they do. Tails gets very intrigued by Sonic after hearing that he's a prince, even though like based on the way he's dressed as, that doesn't look like he's a prince. So it's pretty interesting. Tails is like, yeah, like intrigued to get along with Sonic. He wants to know more about him. But then eventually it leads up to the question of like, well, how am I gonna stop Shadow because he sold my planet? Sonic doesn't know who Shadow is when he first hears about it, but all he knows is that, well, if he sold this kid's planet, then for sure he's a bad dude. So then he pretty much promises him like, okay, look, I gotta stop this dude, but at the same time, I need to get you to your parents. So he asks him to come along with him. However, Sonic doesn't have a ship. And if you want to travel very far in the galaxy, you need to have a ship. But since Sonic had run away from home, he was only able to visit 15 planets, and the planet he was on was the last one. And so then Tails gets the bright idea to turn a car that's ruined in the junkyard that they're in into a ship, and that's how they go on their adventure. So that's all I'm gonna say. I think it's honestly my fault that I don't really talk too much about the Space AU. And the reason for that is because there's a lot of cool things that really happen in it that I don't want to give away too much. Like, I only let a few people read what I have on the Space AU because I only let Chapter 1 to the public. But the ones that I'm working on right now is something that like my siblings get to read, and then also my girlfriend got to read. And they all said that it's really good, and they give me like helpful advice on like, oh, well, like, I did like this, and then it kind of gives me an idea of like what else that could happen in the story. So it's still in progress. I've been working on it for a freaking year. I don't expect this story to do so good, or I don't expect it to be like, oh, the greatest story in the world, or whatever like that. It's just like something for fun, and I was like, I guess, really proud about the way how I made the story and everything, so I was like, I'm gonna write for it, and I'm gonna work for it, and I'm gonna draw fan art of it and everything, of my own AU, and it's pretty fun, yeah. And so I hope when it comes out that people would be interested in giving it a try and stuff. But be warned, because it might seem like they're short chapters, and let me just tell you, they're not short. They're actually really long chapters, so if you're a dedicated fanfiction reader, then this could be for you. But other than that, yeah, I hope to draw the other characters because I do have their designs. However, this was like last year when I was drawing them and putting the designs together, so it doesn't look so good, but I'm very happy with the way my art has progressed and how good looking it's been so far. I really like my own coloring and how it's coming out and everything, so I'm really happy to like be able to update their designs and draw it the way how everything looks now. And hopefully this would give me the ability to improve even more. So yeah, I'm gonna let you carry on with the Speedpaint video. Hope you enjoyed listening to my lovely voice, or not. Depends on you. But yeah.